Once upon a time, a poor man was walking down a dusty road. He had spent the entire day searching for work, but earned nothing. Hunger twisted his stomach, and all he had left was a small piece of dry bread tucked inside his pocket. As he continued walking, he passed a popular restaurant. From its kitchen drifted the rich aroma of freshly cooked soup, roasted meat, and warm spices. The smell was so inviting that it seemed to pull him closer. The poor man touched his empty pocket and, I wish I could afford a meal. But since I have no money, I will sit here and enjoy the aroma while I eat my bread. Perhaps it will make this dry bread taste a little better. So he sat quietly on a bench outside the restaurant. He closed his eyes, breathed in the wonderful smell, and slowly ate his bread. For a brief moment, he felt content. Inside the restaurant, however, the owner had been watching through the window. He was known throughout the town for being greedy, and when he saw the poor man smiling while enjoying the aroma from his kitchen, anger filled his heart. The owner rushed outside and pointed at him. "You thief!" The poor man looked up in confusion. "What have I stolen, sir?" "You have been enjoying the aroma of my soup while eating your bread. My cooks worked hard to prepare that food. Since you enjoyed the smell, you must pay for it." The poor man was stunned. "But sir, I did not eat your food. I only smelled the aroma carried by the wind." "I don't care," the owner barked. "You benefited from my restaurant, and now you must pay." Grabbing the poor man's shirt, he dragged him through the street to the local court. Soon they stood before the village judge. The restaurant owner proudly presented his complaint. "Your Honor, this man sat outside my restaurant and enjoyed the aroma of my soup. Since he enjoyed something that belongs to me, he must pay for it." The judge listened patiently. Then he turned to the poor man and asked him to tell his side of the story. The poor man bowed respectfully and explained exactly what had happened. The courtroom filled with murmurs. Some people shook their heads in disbelief that such a case had even reached the court. The judge sat silently for a moment, stroking his beard. Then a smile slowly appeared on his face. He reached into his pocket and pulled out a small pouch filled with coins. The restaurant owner watched eagerly. The judge motioned for him to come closer. The man hurried forward. The judge shook the pouch. Clink, clink, clink. Then he shook it again. Clink, clink, clink. Then he asked, "Did you hear the sound of the money?" "Yes, Your Honor," the owner replied eagerly. The judge nodded. "Excellent." The courtroom fell silent. Then the judge declared, "This poor man only enjoyed the aroma of your soup. Therefore, it is only fair that you receive the sound of money as payment." Laughter erupted throughout the courtroom. The judge continued, "He smelled your food but never touched it. Therefore, you may hear the money, but never touch it. The payment perfectly matches the service received." Then he struck his gavel firmly. Case dismissed. The crowd applauded. The restaurant owner's face turned red with embarrassment. He stormed out of the courtroom, furious, while the poor man thanked the judge and left with a smile. But the story did not end there. News of the strange case spread throughout the town and into neighboring villages. People laughed at the restaurant owner's greed. Many customers began avoiding his restaurant. Some even said, "If a man charges for the smell of soup today, tomorrow he may charge us for looking at the menu." Gradually, fewer people visited his establishment. Meanwhile, the judge's wisdom became famous throughout the region. Travelers came from far away just to hear the story. As for the poor man, several kind-hearted villagers who had witnessed the trial offered him work. They admired his honesty and his patience. Within a few months, he earned enough money to start a small food stall of his own. Unlike the greedy restaurant owner, he treated everyone with kindness. Whenever a hungry traveler passed by without money, he would offer them a bowl of soup and say, "Kindness costs less than greed and brings greater rewards." His business flourished, and before long he became one of the most respected men in town. And whenever people spoke of the famous court case, they smiled and remembered the lesson it taught. Greed often blinds people to reason and fairness. When we become obsessed with gaining something from everyone and everything, we risk losing respect, trust, and even the blessings we already have. Kindness and generosity build friendships and opportunities, while greed brings embarrassment and isolation. True wealth is not measured by how much we take from others, but by how fairly and compassionately we treat them. The poor man left the courtroom with nothing more than he came with, yet somehow he gained everything. The restaurant owner got exactly what he demanded, and somehow he lost everything.